3 years ago, I did something I'd never done before. I signed up for an online poetry class at a website called Coursera. I never took a poetry course in college, but I knew that my home state of Illinois had given the world great poets like Carl Sandburg and Shel Silverstein. And I thought at that stage in my life I could stand to learn a little bit more about those and other great poets and writers. So I signed up for a contemporary and modern poetry course. I learned so much more in that short course than I ever bargained for. I learned that poetry teaches you to see the world a little differently, to look more closely at things and see events from another perspective. Poetry also teaches us to think and express ourselves more fully and concisely. In a world where misunderstanding can lead to sad, sometimes tragic consequences, any practice that allows us to communicate more clearly with others is certainly valuable. Beyond that, reading a good poem is pure joy. That's why I'm proud to join the Decatur Public Library's first ever Poem a Day project. I would especially like to thank librarian Mary Almer for including me in this project. Every once in a while, you still hear someone ask, why do we need libraries today? Everybody has a computer, or at home or in their pocket. They can connect in a second with more information than our founders ever could have imagined. Well, here's my answer. Number one, not everyone has a computer. There's still a digital divide in America, and that's a reason for libraries. They help to close that divide. Number two, libraries have something the internet doesn't have, something that is really important. Libraries have librarians, the original search engines. I learned early in my life that my library card was a passport to a big world. That passport is what helped this son of an immigrant from East St. Louis, Illinois, reach a job in the United States Capitol in Washington. Libraries today are places where people can go not just to read about ideas, but to talk about them in a constructive and friendly way. Libraries are also classrooms where anyone of any age can access new information and challenge their minds and open their minds. And helping to form those discussions or to point you toward a writer who might change the way you think are the nation's librarians. So thanks, Mary, and the Decatur Public Library for inviting me to participate in the Poem a Day project and for inspiring a new generation of poets and poetry lovers. Now, I've chosen to read a poem by Billy Collins, a great American poet. Billy is not only a great poet, he also teaches a poetry course, and he wrote a poem about teaching poetry. In fact, it's entitled Introduction to Poetry by Billy Collins. I asked them to take a poem and hold it up to the light like a color slide, or press an ear against its hive. I say, drop a mouse into a poem and watch him probe his way out. Or walk inside the poem's room and feel the walls for a light switch. I want them to water ski across the surface of a poem, waving at the author's name on the shore. But all they want to do is tie the poem to a chair with a rope and torture a confession out of it. They begin beating it with a hose to find out what it really means. Thanks, Billy Collins. I hope you'll enjoy poetry as much as I do.